Okay, so we are back with another episode of PuckPod by BD Sports. This is our eighth episode. No Dave today, unfortunately. I think he's sick, right? Is that what he said?
He said he's sick. Yeah.
Okay,
All
well,
I know is I'm the last one standing. I win. Whatever. I don't know what I won, but I won something. Okay.
I find it funny how out of us three, you were the first one not to be consistent. But like,
Yeah. Yeah. Just for anyone who doesn't know, like, just from a reputation standpoint, procrastinating, that kind of stuff. That's definitely I take that crown. But when it comes to hockey, by all means, I'm here all day, every day.
do you have anything
But
cool this
Brian, how
week?
are you, man?
I'm good. I'm good.
Oh, you want to know how I did? I did not terrible. I did very usual, just lots of school. The thing I'm looking most forward to this week is a haircut. I feel like I haven't had a haircut in forever. It's like there's just a nest on top of my head. I can't wait to get rid of it on Tuesday. So in
So I
terms of
shaved.
next week, that's what I'm looking forward to. I know. Yeah, you got to talk about your hair.
So last week actually, the first thing I said was, guys, I shaved my head, and then
Yeah.
at first I regretted it. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, I don't know if this is like for me. But it's not. But then I thought about it. Like, you save so much time. Like, genuinely, it's not as annoying. Hair's not on your face. Just little stuff like that. It makes or breaks the day. You know what I mean? But
You save some valuable time.
you also save a shampoo. Like, I use like
Interesting.
a tenth of what I used to use. Like, okay, maybe not a tenth, but like a fifth. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But
All
it's
right.
good.
Interesting.
And yeah. Do you watch F1 today?
I did not get a chance to watch F1. I was deep into some homework, but I did get a chance to look at the results, and I'm happy that my boy Charles Leclerc was able to hold on to P2 in the WDC. Obviously, it's not first, but we'll take the number two spot. I know that you're probably on the opposite end of that opinion.
I mean, doesn't I'm not too bothered by it at the end of the day. Red Bull won both like titles, right? I'm a little
Very
sad.
true.
I'm a little sad I didn't get to watch Vettel's like last race though. Like
Yeah,
that's okay. I'll watch the
I
highlights
saw
later.
him do. I saw him do the burnouts. Yeah, same. I saw the highlights later. Yeah, I know that's the one thing with F1. Like, I just got into it last year, so you kind of get spoiled with last year's run where it went down to the wire for the championship, but that's not the norm, right? It's like a lot of sports. Like, I'm sure, like it's in soccer, you guys are used to that too. Like, the Premier League is quote unquote wrapped up with, I don't know how, like maybe 5 games left or something, depending on the year, right? So
Sometimes in March.
there you
Yeah.
go. Yeah. So I have to get used to the European way of sports. I'm too babied by these North American sports like the NHL where it's parody, right?
Did
So
did you
yeah.
end up playing any like Pokemon at all? Did you get far in the game?
Once again, some context for the listeners. Me and Brian are definitely some we got some nerdy habits for sure, and yeah, I'm definitely guilty pleasures Pokemon. And yeah, Brian, I did play it. It's fun.
It's
It's
good, man.
Pokemon. It's fun. Even when it looks like crap, it's still fun because it's Pokemon.
I agree. And
Yeah.
as for my week, I actually didn't get a chance to like play a lot of Pokemon. I only got to like to the main city, like that the cathedral city, whatever, like the Valencia
hmm
looking thing.
I don't remember what it's called already.
Yeah, it wasn't really memorable, but anyway, I just like work, school stuff, just the typical stuff. I mean, I did
Really mundane, boring stuff. Like,
yes.
that's the time of the year, right? Like, it's just like, oh, can we just get to like Christmas break already? Like, it just feels like a grind.
Yeah, yeah. And the caps didn't help my mood either. I mean,
They're
0
in a
for
bit of a
3.
grind themselves. Yeah, yeah. Go into it.
Oh my god. So like you know how like at the end of last episode I was like we have a pretty tough week. We got Florida, then we got the Blues, who I didn't think were that good, and then we got the Avs. Yeah, we went 0
Yep.
for 3 and it just wasn't a good look, man. Um the Panthers game was actually super competitive. We ended up losing 5-2, but like it was 3-2 up until like the last 5 minutes of the game. We kind of let in 2 goals, then they got the Emminator. But
Was it that game where I was saying that it was 4-0 and you guys didn't have a shot
no,
on goal? Was it that?
that was the Bolts game. But like we're not gonna talk about
Okay,
that
yes,
because
2 weeks. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
I'm sorry to bring that up. I'm sorry to bring up bad memories,
And it's
but
funny
okay.
too because we have another tough week going next week. But in regards to the Panthers game specifically, um, Hank Green, you're right. Mac Chuck, fantastic hockey player. Not the best person, but what I will say is that there's an interesting play at the end of the game for the empty net goal. So the first shot, he like it's an empty net. He's sitting at the halfway point, right? So he just goes for the shot, completely puts it wide, okay? And then
Who scored the empty netter?
Verhage, but like
Is it?
that's where I was getting
Oh,
to.
okay. I'm
Like
sorry.
he completely
Uh,
he just throws
okay.
the puck like towards like the net, misses completely. Play resets, goes back to our zone, whatever. Then they get a chance to score another empty net. Makachuk's waiting at like the blue line almost, right, or like the halfway line in
Hmm.
that area. The puck comes
Yep.
to him in the most awkward way possible, and he just kind of pushes it like this on the floor to Verhage, and Verhage just slots it in. It's like he almost learned from his lesson. But
Interesting.
specifically, what I wanted to highlight with the Panthers, Barkov is ridiculously good. Like his, I know it's like it's one of the most common things people say. He's the most underrated player in the league or whatever. But
Yeah,
man,
we're
like
beyond that. Yeah,
the
it's
small stuff,
the conversation has evolved.
like the small stuff though, like even just like the stick lifts, back
Yes.
check, like the skating, and like the one thing that like I thought was really interesting, he poke checks very well. Like the way
Well, he's a wizard, right? He's a takeaway master in that sense, right? If you had to give like a comparable in terms of another player, like who would you say Barkov is in the elk of? Because I've got a comparison and I want to get your opinion on it.
like
Like, is there a past player before Barkov that reminds
Datsuk,
you of, or nothing? Yes, right. Like in terms of, I'm trying to think of who is the successor, the spiritual successor to Pavel Datsuk. You definitely have Barkov in that conversation, but he's got like a bit of a different body type. He's a bigger guy, and then like Matthews, I throw in that same category where he's another bigger guy, but they do kind of have that same game. I'm trying to think of like Draisaitl maybe, but once again, big body guy. Like Datsuk was the perfect marriage of like he
Silk.
wasn't a giant, but like he was like I don't know, probably he was like what 6'2", I'd say, and just the filthiest hands in the world, and so defensively responsible. We need another Datsuk. We need the spiritual successor to Datsuk to make his way to the NHL. Wherever you are, man, I need you because Datsuk was a absolute favorite of mine, and I'm sure everyone else's.
100%. And Barkov's really close though. And
Yeah.
what I can say about Barkov is this guy will win a cup one day. I think he's that good. I've been on the hype train for years, right? For
Yes.
Barkov, and
Yes.
then the one thing I noticed that I think is weird. I think he changed his stick or something. I haven't watched him recently, like since the playoffs, but his stick seems longer than normal. Maybe maybe it's a different camera angle, or
I
whatever.
mean, it's possible.
But like
Um,
he looked like the reach was way longer. I
that's
don't know.
interesting.
Maybe I'm crazy, but
I don't know. Yeah, I like Barkov for me. The thing that like once again the underrated conversation, but I feel like people don't appreciate how good his handles are. Like this
oh, it's
guy
like
can
Patrick Kane
dangle.
level.
This guy is a shootout master. Yeah, and once again going to that big body but dangles. Like he's underrated in that respect. Not necessarily his game as a whole, but yeah, that's an underappreciated part. What did you think about? Did you get a chance to see the Panthers jerseys last night? They wore the reverse retros. Have you seen them on the ice yet?
I have seen them on the ice. I
Mm-hmm.
On the ice they're a little bit like iffy to me, but like I'd wear that out. Like you know what I mean? Like if I'm walking in public,
That's no, I agree. Yeah,
it's
it's more of a casual look.
but they're so nice, man. They're so nice. Like my god, it's like I think the Heat. Is it the Heat? Kind of
Um,
like
what are you going to bring up about the Heat though? They're Miami Vice.
yes. It's kind of like that. It's like it doesn't look good on the court, but it looks fantastic on um like just
Yeah,
walking around and stuff
yeah.
like that.
I would the Heat ones I really like because they've done it. With the thing about the NBA is they have so many jerseys, which is it's something I'm jealous of honestly. Like we've already established we're all jersey nerds on the podcast, but so the Heat they had the Vice City look, which for those who don't know is either like black or white with the light blue and the pink, right? That's the Miami color scheme there. And they ruined it recently, Brian. I don't know if you've seen what the Heat have been wearing as their alternate jerseys the past couple years. People compare it to like remember in like the early 2000s when people would talk about serial killers and the notes they would leave where it looked like they cut out letters on cereal boxes and
Yeah,
that's how they formed the words. That's how the Heat's jersey look now. So imagine that exact same style. Every single letter
That's so
has a
weird.
different font to it, and then they just jumble it together. So every player's jersey looks different because their name stylizes the font of the jersey. But like it just that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of the serial killer notes of the mid 2000s. It's really weird. This is too much jersey talk though. So yeah, you had the Panthers. Who did the Caps move on to? You said the
Yeah,
Blues,
the
right?
Blues, the Blues.
Hmm.
I'm kind of glad we did this. So we started lingering
Yeah,
against the Blues, former former
he was
player of
with
the
them
Blues last
last
season.
year.
Yeah, he actually went
Yeah,
5-0 with them last year, which is kind of interesting, right?
yeah, yeah.
And it just I don't know, man. Like you know me, I'm not a St. Louis Blues fan. I don't think they're that great, but they really put put gave it to me because they went up I think they went up like 3-0. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 3-0 going into the second, and then I don't know, like the game looked lost, and then Dowd on this beautiful penalty kill, shorthanded play, gives it to Carlson. Carlson scores on a 2-on-1, and in my mind, I'm thinking like, wow, like what, like this is not a good look for us. Like we're happy about a shorthanded goal, and then Nick Dowd is the guy to spark it. I mean, like, kudos to him. He's probably one of the MVPs this season, genuinely, right?
he
But
he is your David Camp.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Or he's Lars Eller before Lars Eller fell off the goddamn hill. But
yeah,
man, like he was good. And then what they also wanted to highlight, the Vucinovic goal was so weird. So Tarasenko,
yeah. Yes, was it the
yes,
wraparound?
yeah. Oh my
Okay,
god.
yeah. That
Um,
was clean though,
it was
man.
nice.
I
It was
like
nice.
that.
And
Yeah.
but oh my god, Lindgren, man, you gotta hug the post tighter than that. Like you can't like get caught by like a little dumping play. But I don't know. It just basically what happened for context. Tarasenko like dumps it in like a weird fashion. He like throws it down into the corner, and then Vucinovic just burns. I think Ferravari takes it and goes around him, and then scores the wraparound.
It was a wraparound, but like just the fluidity in Vucinovich's skating is what made it. Like
Yes.
he did the move that I love to do in hockey, except I'm obviously not NHL caliber. Where I forget what it's called. Crosby does it too, where it's like you turn your skates. If you're looking at the clock, it's like you have one skate going. What would that be? One skate going 3 o'clock and the other one going 6 o'clock. Like you're basically in line with your shoulders. It's a weird move that you have to do on wraparounds, but like he executed it so well. It was really clean. Not clean the jerseys that they were wearing. I keep interrupting with jersey talk, but that was their reverse retros, and man, I still hate them. I don't like them at all.
I like the color. I think the yellow looks good, contrasting the white on the ice. But the actual jersey itself looks terrible. Like the actual design on
They
the
look
shirt.
like they look like they just became like sponsors of a mustard brand or
Yeah,
something. They look
yeah.
like a mustard bottle. It just screams like Southern American barbecue shop mustard bottle. That's what I see in those jerseys.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of those ones. And then the finale of the Caps week
Wait,
last night, right?
one more
Oh,
thing
one more
actually.
one. Yeah,
O'Reilly's goal. So
I didn't see this one.
basically what happened is like, I'm not sure if it was a power play, but he basically was sitting, like front post ish, and then someone throws the puck, like a teammate puts the puck on his stick, and then Trevor Van Reeves like dives in to try to block it or like take it like on the floor, kind of like sliding, right?
He,
All of a
he
sudden, O'Reilly,
commits. Yeah.
he just like he does the crossy, just like nonchalant backhand. Oh my god, it was so clean.
Well, you know what? That is O'Reilly's one of his patented moves because his stick is a gnarly stick, right? If you've never seen Ryan O'Reilly's curve, go look it up because there's no curve to it. It is basically as close as you can get to a 90-degree angle. It's not even like this. It's this, but there's that at the end. Like it's this really sharp hook at the end that he loves. He's the only player in the NHL that I think uses his weird freaking curve. But hey, it's dirty for backhands, and
Dude,
you saw that first person.
he just like launched it. It was so clean. Like well done to him and well done to the Blues. And Lindgren, it kind of sucks. But like going back to this game, we actually ended up like catching up. It was 4-4 in the last minute. We scored 3 goals in
Mhm.
like the last 30 seconds of like not 30 seconds, maybe like the last 4 minutes. And then I'm like, okay, like this is the Caps, and then we are going to Nick Dowd scores, or no, sorry, not Nick Dowd. Someone throws a shot on net, and then Grice kind of just fumbles it, whatever. Nick Dowd just cross checks Grice, and then it's called for goaltender interference. They called the goal back. We lose in a shootout, and
Damn it.
it kind of sucks, but going like shootouts are a little bit more difficult these days. I feel like Oshie, like our number one shootout guy, I think he's like a 65% shooter on penalties or something ridiculous like that.
One of the best in like history, I think.
Yeah, and
Just on percentage.
he's obviously not with us anymore. Backstrom, I think, is 47%, which is pretty high. He's obviously not with us, and like I don't expect to win shootouts when Mantha's your like third shooter. It's not.
Man, I'm so over shootouts. I've been over shootouts now. Like I was watching last night after the Leaf game. The broadcast goes on Hockey Night in Canada goes from the Leaf game to whatever game is still in progress, which is usually the Habs game. And so I was watching that Habs and Flyers, and Caulfield scores to tie the game with 2 seconds left. So they go to overtime. Yeah, it was such a weird sequence because like they were just forcing Caulfield to shoot over and over again. It's like, here's a wrist shot. Oh, it misses the net. Here's a slap shot. That one goes wide. Screw it, throw it to him again. And then I felt like the shot he scored on was like his worst shot of that little sequence, right? So weird. And Torts is just like killing himself on the bench. He's got one hand over. He's like, God damn it, Cole. It was hilarious. Anyways, it goes to overtime. I watched the overtime because you don't turn off an overtime hockey game. But as soon as I went to shootout, I stopped watching. I said, okay, I saw the fun. I'm not here. I'm not waiting here for a shootout. Like that's the point I'm at as a hockey fan. If my team is not in a shootout, I'm turning it off, man.
I actually like prefer like the 3-on-3. Ever since I remember when they added it in, I wasn't a fan.
Yeah.
But what I can say now is like 3-on-3 is so fun to watch, and it does end games quicker. It works.
It does, yeah.
The only thing
if you're a Leaf fan, you're probably not a fan of overtime this year, but in general, it's pretty good.
The thing is, like, I think teams are gonna start picking up on like the possession aspect, like just holding and holding and holding, even for like.
I think they already have, right?
Yeah, but like more so than already, because at this point, like, if you hold possession, you lose it, then it's 2-on-1, and then could cost you the game. But I think potentially I think they're gonna find a way to stall it out even further, just until you find that perfect shot or whatever. In a sense that kind of like the end of a soccer game, for example, like that. But then at the end, they'll try to push for it just to like minimize the chance of a counterattack. Because at the end of the day, it's only 5 minutes. You can easily kill that if it's 3-on-3, right?
How would you feel if we went back to? Well, actually, no. Like, what if instead of a 5-minute 3-on-3, we did 10-minute 3-on-3, and then if no one scores in those 10 minutes, it's a tie. Like, is there any world in where you'd be okay with ties returning to NHL records?
Yeah.
You would be okay with that?
Yeah. I mean,
I'm just trying to think of it from a historical standpoint, like just like things that, especially like goalies records, they're always so hard to compare when you throw in the ties, right? That's my only concern.
I was gonna say we should go 7 minutes 3-on-3, but I think 10 works better. It's a round number.
I would just go 10. Yeah. The shootout is obviously more than 5 minutes. Like a 10, and just from a time constraint standpoint, a 10-minute 3-on-3 is probably going to take the same amount of time as the overtime and shootout.
I think 3-on-3 is just fun to watch too, especially when
100%.
it's like 4 points for like in a shootout in a regular season or whatever. I mean, the best hockey is overtime hockey. I mean, I think that we even go to that it goes even to like playoffs specifically, right? Continuous OT.
Oh my God, yes.
No ads. It's the best.
Until your playoff overtime's on, you just stop what you're doing and go watch it.
100%,
without a doubt.
Unless it goes to the one where it goes like 5 overtimes in the bubble. I don't know.
I watched that, bro. I watched that. Trust me, it hurt to watch because this is after, like you said, the bubble year. So Leafs play Columbus. We lose in a terrible performance in Game 5, and then I've got to watch freaking Tampa and Columbus play Game 1. 5 overtimes. I'm just like, Tampa, please beat these guys. Please. Braden Point scored in 5th overtime to make me slightly happier, but still very, very down.
Yeah. Going back on topic, the last game the Caps had was actually against the Avs. Man, like they lost Kemper, right? So we started Kemper against the Avs. Like that's where I was going with that. Lindgren against St. Louis, Kemper against Colorado. And
lined up well that way, yeah.
I don't know, man. Like they somehow got better by picking up Gorgiev from New York. He's really, really good. He kind of, I think that's the main reason why well, at the end of the day, we lost 4-0, right? So I can't really say that. But at the end of the day,
Yeah,
like, man, he stonewalled us. I think he had like 40 saves or something ridiculous like that, which is fantastic. Um, Abe Kubel actually played against like against his former team as well because he used to be on the Avs last year, and like you could tell that he wanted to win. Like he played with a
yeah.
chip on his shoulder. He had passion. Like you could tell that he was going for like plays that he wouldn't go for, like going to the corners, hitting, like just minute stuff. Like he was visible throughout the game. But there's the play that he's gonna be most visible for is the one where McKinnon just like makes him look stupid. Like he does like McKinnon comes in, does a little head fake. Albeckville almost like slips almost, and then McKinnon just scores. He just roofs it on Kemper. Oh my god, man!
What a nasty player McKinnon is, man. Like he is like you just mentioned all the things about Abe Kubel. Yeah, he's intense. He does the little things. He's relentless out there. And then McKinnon's just all those things times 100. He's just 100 Abe Kubels in one body, man.
It,
That guy.
it was such a
How,
nice
how,
goal
how can you not enjoy it?
because he just does a head fake. You know what I mean? And then it like trips the guy out, like trips Abe
Yeah,
Kubel out. It was like, oh my
because
goodness.
you can't like do like a half baked head fake. Like if I just go like obviously you're gonna see that coming. You have to sell it. And McKinnon, you look at that guy, and if you just stared at his face on the bench, you can tell in his brain like he's just thinking hockey, 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 hockey. Like he's just so intense. That guy doesn't take a break for himself. Even on the bench, like the Bednar argument a couple years ago, that guy eats and sleeps some more hockey. So
And
yeah, I mean for nothing else.
go, go,
Ouch.
going into going into like this game, like I was thinking like, man, like McKinnon, Makar, like I'm gonna see both of them do something crazy, and then Makar do something even crazier against us. He did the Ovechkin goal, like, and Makar's number 8 too, uh, like against
Which
us,
Ovechkin goal? Like just the 1T you're
like the
saying?
from the
Or
office, yeah, from the office on the power play.
okay.
Oh my god, you know how I said Makar's best like asset was like his ability to get past the F1, like the forechecking one
Yes.
and forechecking two, like
The one man breakout.
yes, dude. I think that there's an argument that his best asset is the shot after seeing that. Like he roofed it. And
Yeah.
their power plays like I don't know. They have two bombs on both sides with Rantanen and Makar, and they switch up. It's so clean. Maybe like that's what a Stanley Cup winning team looks like. But
Like they're still a complete team, right? Obviously they lost Kadri, and that is still their biggest glaring need is a 2C because Newhook hasn't really flourished there yet this season. Perhaps he was rushed into that role, and I don't think Rodriguez is gonna do the job at 2C for a full season if you want to be, like you said, a Stanley Cup contender. But outside of that, what hole can you point to on the Avs? You can't.
I
I
even
don't know one.
I even think they might have like I love Kemper. I think Kemper's done like really well for us so far, given the circumstances of the team. But I don't know. Gorgiev might be an upgrade in a year or two. Like Gorgiev genuinely has an argument to be better right now, and it could be better in will potentially will be significantly better in 1 to 2 years. I mean,
It's
I'm like
you
going.
have to give some credit to Georgiev. You have to give credit to him because like I was about to say I was gonna be like, yo, it's the Avs system. These guys have six solid defensemen. It's not even Georgiev that's that good. But
He's good.
I remember that they had they might even have him again right now, but there was a goalie, I think it's Jonas Johansson, who just like this guy is not good at all. And he was not good at all on the Avs. And I was like, okay, so you can't just throw any goalie in there and it'll be okay. Like you do have to be a competent goalie. And then yeah, Georgiev has been more than competent. He's shown that it's more than just the system. This guy has stepped it up.
And I also wanted to give credit to Sakic over there because there's one point in like in time way back when, like 5, 6, 7 years ago, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Yep.
As were dog shit, and the Capitals would actually use them as like an offshore account. Like we would just send guys over there. Like okay, Burakovsky for one. The other one that sticks out is Grubauer, and then
Varlamov.
yeah, Varlamov, and then the other one was like they send Orpik over, they buy Orpik, and then we sign Orpik back, right? When we won the cup. But man, like they've really gotten good. They've even taken those assets, done well with them. I mean, Burakovsky won a second cup, right? And
Yep.
I don't know, man.
You know
How
what?
times have changed.
And you know, like I brought up the 2C hole. I've seen a ton of people like in the Avs fan base mention they can fix that come trade deadline because they are so stacked on defense. They're literally willing to move a great defender in Sam Girard. Like he is basically Avs fans have said this is the guy who will go to get us a 2C. Can you imagine having Sam Girard as an expendable asset on your team? That's the Avs. Bo
Dude,
Byram, Kale McCarr, Devon Tays. Still got Eric Johnson as a dependable third pairing defender. Um, that blue line's stacked upon stacked.
I don't know if they need a Lars Eller. If they need a center, I know a team that hasn't one, but anyway, to end off Caps, like dude, like I don't think we're gonna make the playoffs. Like, oh,
How many episodes ago was it when you did your little existential crisis about the Caps? But at
dude,
the end of it, you're like, "Listen, this sucks right now. We have the injuries, but it's okay. We're gonna make the playoffs." That was the
I
summary
I
of
don't
your
remember the
last
last.
soliloquy, but
I don't remember the last
two
time.
weeks ago.
I don't remember the last time we lost 4 games in a row. And if
Oh,
you look
okay.
at next schedule, we have the Flyers, who we can potentially beat, the
I think
Devils.
they're mediocre. They are proving themselves to be mediocre. The Flyers.
But we're bad. So
You might also. I mean, maybe I wasn't talking about the Flyers actually.
and then we have the Flames. That's our chance. That's like the one chance that we actually might be able to steal a game off
Prove
of.
yourself.
Yeah. Well, uh,
You think the Flames are like a write off or something? What?
no, like
Yeah, that's a win.
dude, we're 4 losses in a row. It's not looking too good. And then
Yeah,
we have Devils to close out next week. So it's like we're not gonna be the team that ends
we'll
the
we'll
Devil
get into
streak.
the Devils.
Yeah.
We'll get into the Devils when I bring them up with the Leafs.
Also,
Yeah, I think your guys' record right now. What do you know it off the top of your head? Actually, I have it right
seven.
here. Do
I
you
have
want to guess?
7-10-4, 7-10 and
7, 10,
3.
and 3.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in 20 games. That
Oh
is
my goodness.
that is not good. Like I was not expecting it to be that. I can't even call you mediocre, Brian.
We're
You might
bad.
be the B word. You might be bad.
What's the lottery odds for like this season again? Just asking for a
Dude,
friend.
listen. I think Bedard will look good in a Caps jersey. Like
Yes.
I,
And,
I really, I really hope he doesn't go to the Ducks because like they got such ugly unis. Like I don't want him there. I much prefer him to be on the Caps. Give
and
me that all day.
one more thing I found out like right before the episode that I didn't have in my notes, but I wanted to share. Um,
Hmm.
so we sent somebody down recently, this morning actually, to play in Hershey, and
Okay.
you know that means that Abe Kubel will be playing full time in the NHL for the Caps this season. We sent McMichael down, unfortunately,
Oh
and I think he's playing.
no.
I think they're playing as of right now. Like Hershey's playing, I think Lee Valley, and they're wearing their nice like hockey night, hockey fights cancer, like the purples.
Okay.
And oh man, McMichael should tear up the AHL down there. Like when he was a rookie, he led the team in scoring in like 2019 or whatever, 2018 or no 2019,
Mhm.
2020 or something like that. But good for him. He's down there. I mean, he wasn't going to play with Laviolette as a coach. I'll just say
It's
that.
it's like the Nick Robertson conversation where the worst thing you could do is have him just sit. Like either have him play NHL games or AHL games, right?
Yeah.
Games are better than none. So yeah, I think that's that's the lesser of the two evils, Brian. So at least we're gonna talk about McMichael. Yeah, like you said, hopefully tearing it up in the game. I'll be cool to talk about that.
You want to move on to the Leafs?
Okay. Yeah. The Leafs had a week. I'm not gonna go like how me and Dave usually do, where we just do a straight breakdown of every single game, just because I don't really think the Leafs showed us too much new stuff. Like they were just kind of the Leafs. The one exception to that is Matt Murray, who obviously came back, made his second appearance of the season against the Penguins in Pittsburgh. And he played pretty well. And you can say the same thing in the Devils game. He played pretty well. And you can say the same thing in the Buffalo game. He played pretty well. So that's where we're at. We're met with Matt Murray. 4 games in, pretty well. I'd compare him to what we were seeing in the preseason, where that was the everyone was just like, yeah, he looks pretty good in the preseason. That's we're back at that point with Matt Murray now. That's not to say that goaltending issues are solved and that Murray's gonna be back to Pittsburgh form. But for the time being, we're back at square one with Murray, which is cautiously optimistic. At least that's where I'm at. So that's what we've got that's new on the Leafs front, at least from what we saw in game. From there, we can just kind of extrapolate on what this roster is at this point. People are starting to speculate about, okay, who are the names that could move for the Leafs? What should they do here? And once again, the McMichael comparison, the Leafs McMichael is a guy by the name of Nick Robertson. You might have heard of him. And he hasn't been playing too many NHL games as of recent. He's sat at least the past two games in a row. And he's getting stuck in that no man's land between the NHL and AHL. Frank Cervalli threw around a project or a potential trade. Like he said, this is not based in any actual fact or anything he's heard, but he said, hey, Nick Robertson for Ville Heinola from Winnipeg. Who says no? You got to take on that, Brian? I don't know if you've heard this trade tossed around yet.
I haven't. I have
just
not.
Haven't heard that? Well, yeah. So Sarah Valley put it out on Daily Faceoff on his website there. Do you have any thoughts on that, Brian? Like, do you think that would be a win or a loss for one team or the other?
I wouldn't move Robertson. I think he's too talented to move at this point. Like,
Yeah.
Robertson's not Bracco. It's what I'm trying to say. You know?
Yeah, Bracco. Even when we drafted him, it was like, okay, he can pass, he can do this, but there was a glaring problem with not even. It wasn't even his size; it was the combination of being small and not fast. That's when you get in trouble. You can't have average skating and be small at the NHL level, or else you're me. Okay, that's who you are. You're not at the NHL level. So that was Bracco's thing. Robertson, he is at
Silky.
least slightly above average in skating. Like the guy puts in the work. You cannot discredit this guy's work ethic. He goes to beyond the limits to try and get himself in NHL shape, and it's reflected in his speed. He's a quick guy, not necessarily a blazer, but he's quick. And we already talked about the shot, rocket, like you said. That's talent that cannot be taught. But that's kind of where his game has stopped at the NHL level. We haven't seen much outside of the shot. What is this guy going to be doing for us at 5-on-5? Is he going to make shots for other players? And that's what we haven't seen yet.
I think it's also the curse of being on a team with stacked wingers, right? I mean, it was the same thing with Burakovsky almost, right? In the sense that, well, Burakovsky's a little bit different because he never like went down, but he was scratched quite a bit. But you know, talented, skilled forwards on a team with already way too many world beaters, like world talented, skilled wingers potentially, right? Robertson plays on the right side, correct?
No, he's a lefty. He's a left shot. It would make sense for him to play as offside because he's got the 1T in his pocket.
Yep.
But he's a natural left winger. And I know you said we're stacked on wing. We are stacked on right wing. When a team with Marner and Nylander as their 1 and 2 right wings, like you're not getting in the top 6 on the right side. But the left wing spot is what Leafs fans have been talking about all year. The 2 left wing spot is our concern. We feel like Bunting can serve in at first line left wing or second line left wing, but it's the secondary spot that is there for the taking for Robertson. And I think the conclusion most people have come to is saying like McMichael, let the guy play or send him down. Don't do this yo-yo stuff, and give him a stretch of games. Give him up to, let's say, 8 to 10 games in a row. Let him prove himself. Let him work through his mistakes that he may make. Because right now it feels at least very reactionary. Where Keefe will put him in for a game. If he doesn't see what he wants, he's out, and that's it.
The thing with
he doesn't see.
The thing with Robertson for me is that he's at least shown like promise this season, right? McMichael went like 0-0 in 6 games, like legitimately goose eggs. I think in the games he participated in. Robertson has 2 goals, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or 3.
2 goals in the first. He has. I think he only has the 2 goals that he scored in his first game. He's picked up a bunch of assists along the way. I want to say he's got like 6 or 7 points in the games he's played. But let's go back to McMichael for a second. When he first showed up,
That's true.
there was promise. There was promise.
That's
What
true.
happened?
Oh,
Right?
Peter, I feel
Now,
like
now
I
you see the parallel,
yeah,
but you see the parallel where it's like Nick
that's
Robertson
true.
comes up. There's promise. Where does it go? And this isn't even Nick Robertson's first rodeo. This is like the third rodeo. It goes back to the bubble season where he debuted in the playoffs, right? So
Oh, he played there.
that's the Rob.
You're
Yeah,
right.
man, he played
Oh
against
my goodness, that
Columbus.
happened.
That dark times. That's the Tyson Berry season. That's when, yeah, we weren't as good of a team as we thought. And you know what? That'll bring me to the next topic. My trade suggestion that I should have brought up last episode, and I said nah, because now all the analysts and insiders are like, "Yeah, this is a good idea, guys. I thought of this." And I'm not saying I was the first to come up with my trade proposal here, but it's just like that's just how timing works. Where you think of something, you put it aside, think, it's not the time,
I can
and
confirm.
someone beats you to it.
I can confirm
So,
he
anyways,
sent it on the
yeah,
Friday before, like the Friday.
yes.
I was at work. It's like 9 p.m. and then he sends his trade, and then it made sense. I'll let you say it what it is, but yeah, 2 days before the
Yeah,
pod we recorded last week, so it's gonna be about 10 days. 10 days ago.
yeah. If you listened to that episode, you know that I shelved the take, and I came up with the take in one of my classes where I wasn't paying attention, and
Nice.
I was doing this on Capfilly
How much do you
instead.
pay on tuition again? How much you're schooling per year?
Confidential, confidential. Um, anyways, instead of my money, let's talk about the Leafs' money. And like I said, I was on Cap Friendly, making the numbers work. And the trade proposal I came up with is between the trade would be between the Leafs and the Columbus Blue Jackets, where the Leafs would be receiving Vladislav Gavrikov, who, like I said, Sarah Valley's mentioned it. A bunch of people, a bunch of insiders have mentioned it as an option. Not even, once again, not even saying that there's hard proven it's there's nothing to say this is going to happen or that the Leafs have even considered it, but it's just like people saying, "Hey, this is a name that makes sense." And Gavrikov to me makes so much sense. He is exactly in that Muzzin mold that Ilya Labushkin plus is kind of what I would have him as. And once again, going back to the Columbus series, he impressed me from then. That's when he first came into the NHL. I believe that was his first season, and he was impressive. Him and David Savard were shutting us down big time. It was like they had two first pairings. Jones and Werenski kicked our butt big time. They were workhorses. But that second pair, those guys made a big difference. So big fan of Gavrikov. Would be 100% an upgrade on really
Anybody.
I'd say like he's an upgrade on Hall, and the way that Sandin's been playing, he'd be an upgrade on him, and he would keep Giordano's minutes down because he could definitely step into that second basically Muzzin's role. He would take over where Muzzin left off.
Gavrikov's a lefty, right? Yeah, I think
He
so.
is a lefty.
So
He is a lefty. I don't know if he plays both sides, but
he would be an upgrade on every single defenseman you have defensively, like period.
defensively, yes. No, he'd be our best defensive defenseman. Yes, 100%. So yeah, that's the main part of the trade. I want to say his cap number is like 2.8, somewhere near that. So that was the
That's a
first portion of
steal.
the trade.
Oh my goodness.
So I was saying, Gavrikov is who part of the Leafs would be receiving. And I also threw, he's not a throw in, but I said Gustav Nyquist because I feel like the Leafs are going to get priced out of the top tier of left wingers. Like I do not see us being able to pony up for a Patrick Kane. I don't see it, or a Bo Horvat. Like I don't think the Leafs package would beat other teams' packages. Specifically, a team like the Bruins. Now I can't even remember. I'm going to go ahead and check this. I want to know if the Bruins have their first, because if they do have their first, like I said, like we're not beating that offer. Because I like some of the Bruins prospects. Specifically, I like Fabian Lysell. He was drafted a couple years ago. He almost made this team out of camp, and yeah, he's a guy that I think they might be willing to give up because this is such an all-in year for them. I did just check; they've got first-round picks for the next 3 years. They don't have their second for this year, next year, but they can put up a hell of a package, and I don't see any reason
I
why they won't. And I don't think the Leafs would be wise to put in Matthew Nyes for a rental, taking us out of the Patrick Kane and Bo Horvat market. So where does that leave us? That leaves you in the next tier of left wingers, guys who can comfortably fit in that second line, third line role. I picked Gustav Nyquist because I think this is a guy who has the offensive skills to maybe gel with a Tavares and Nylander. This is a burner. This is a guy with speed, and you need that to compensate on a line with Tavares. So
Yes.
to make this work numbers wise, you would need to have get Nyquist retained at 50%. I believe he makes 5.5 million for just this year. He's a UFA in the summer. So you would have to have the numbers work that way. It could either be a third team involved to retain on it, or Columbus themselves outright. Now the return. So how does this deal make sense for Columbus? So if you just had to put a tag, and I've heard people ask this question already. What is the tag on Gavrikov? I think most people would estimate it to be a second round pick. But in a bidding war, if enough teams are interested, I could see it being a late first. Would you agree on that front, Brian?
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Or
So
like or a high end prospect.
yes, like a low A tier prospect, like maybe a team's second or third best prospect, right?
Yes.
Something like that. I think the Blue Jackets would probably be more interested in pure draft capital because you know what, they've got actually a pretty good prospect system and some young guys already in the lineup. Cole Sillinger, um, uh, Kent Johnson, those are the main two guys there. David Jiricek, who they drafted this year. I think they would probably be good with some pure draft capital there. So Leafs first round pick has to go out the other way this year. So that's the 2023 first. I say that because, like I said, I expect a bidding war for Gavrikov. The guy's going to be popular. He's going to be the trendy name come trade deadline. So you got to give up your first. How are you getting Nyquist? The more I think about it, it might even have to be a little bit more. You might have to sweeten the deal. I think what I came to the conclusion of was our third, because we do have a third. I don't think we have a second. And then once again, to make the money work, you do have to have Engvall go out the door. And then obviously Nyquist takes that forward position in the top 12. Once again, the Engvall doesn't necessarily have to go in this trade. It's any team really that's willing to take Engvall. And I think this might be the biggest, literally, this is the biggest holdup to this deal, is if someone just wants to take a flyer on this guy just because. Teams have done this before. Like sometimes at the trade deadline, you know who did this actually? Like Buffalo did this a couple years ago. They just decided, yeah, we're not making the playoffs, but I'll take Wayne Simmons. Do you remember that?
I don't. I didn't even know.
Exactly.
That's like
Yeah.
really forgettable. Wow.
Like the Sabres were not making the playoffs. And they're just like, give us Wayne Simmons for the culture. Do it for the culture. That's what happened there. I obviously Pierre Engvall's not Wayne Simmons, but and once again, now I'm rethinking it in my head. Even if nobody wants Engvall, you send him to the minors because he makes 1.8 million. That's almost fully variable. It'd probably be variable up to I think it's like 1.25 million. So you do that if you have to. And trust me, I can make the numbers work. We'll make the numbers work.
Or you
So
ship him
I
off
like
somewhere. As long as you get the money back. As long as
yes,
as long as you get the money off the
that's
board, off the books, then you're
yeah,
fine.
like he's a UFA at the end of the year. So would literally just be anybody please take this man. That's where we're at with Engvall. And then yes, you do have to add more to this deal. It'd probably be, like I said, the third, and then it's a B tier prospect from the Leafs. Specifically, which one? It is tough to say. It's probably whichever one Columbus likes the most. Who's in that tier? Guys like Ronnie Hirvonen. There's a couple more unknown names that are starting to get known that are tearing it up in the juniors. There's a guy like Ty Voigt. That's a guy who's been tearing it up. And I think there's another guy in the USHL whose name escapes me. But those are the type of names that make up the Leafs B tier. Maybe even like a Fraser Minton, who was their most recently high draft pick in the second round last year. Basically, anyone who's not named Matthew Nyes, Topi Niemola, or Nick Robertson is the prospects that you're willing to trade here.
I
So
I
that was the little deal I consummated.
I like the deal for you guys, but in a bidding war, it's gonna be tough to get it done. It's
That's where I see the Leafs falling. Like that's why, like they don't have the. We burned our assets year after year,
you
understandably so.
you also need like that I'm of the opinion that I don't like rentals. I don't like going and getting the one guy, like grabbing one guy from like the big name on the block because when we did it, it was Shattenkirk, right? And obviously
Yeah.
that
Okay.
didn't work
That was
out,
a disaster.
and that burned us, man. Like the guy had for like future New Yorker or like I love New York in his Twitter bio while playing for us. Like, what are you doing? But regardless, I don't know, man.
I
That's a
get
big
it.
package just for 1 year, just for one run. Even from Boston's standpoint, like I don't think I'd do it. Like I don't believe in that. I
You
believe
wouldn't do it with no guarantees that Bergeron and Krejci are coming back and Pasternak in line for a huge deal. I think I would, man. If Patrick Kane is available or Bo Horvat, one of the big names at forward, Ryan O'Reilly, I
Is
do
it
it.
confirmed that like those guys are not coming back? I'm out in the meeting room hearing the
Yeah,
conversations.
no, you're right.
And at the end of the day, like I'm a building the system from the ground up. Finding the right pieces properly through the draft, finding undervalued guys through trades and stuff. Like maybe I'm just burned from the times that we did it. You know,
Oh,
um,
the Leafs have been burned many times too. Don't like Nick Foligno
that's the one that
is
sticks out.
case in point.
Nick
Yes,
Foligno is the one that sticks out
even
to me. But like
even
besides that,
Tyson Berry, if you want to say that, because he was a 1 year full rental that we made in the offseason, but we didn't resign him, we let him go, right? So I will say, here's my rebuttal to the rental thing. There's a team that I think me and you both liked last year in terms of the moves they made at the deadline. They made three moves that I think we were both in agreement were great, great moves, and I was jealous of as a Leafs fan. And that's the Rangers. They acquired three players at the deadline: Andrew Kopp, Tyler Mott, Justin Braun. Those were three guys I had on the Leafs target list, like 100%. I would have taken any of those three guys. And they made a huge difference on the Rangers' run there. Andrew Kopp was a de facto number two center for them. That guy was incredible for them. Tyler Mott, instant fan favorite. And if he wasn't, he's he's a little injury prone. And if he wasn't, that guy, he's doing good on Ottawa this year. I think he's got like 7 or 8 points, which for a fourth liner is good. That guy's a culture changer. And Justin Braun, his analytics last year
fantastic.
were really good as like a number 5-6 D. I don't know how they are this year. And I'll tell you what, like the 2 years ago, he was terrible. Maybe last year was an aberration, but that was a guy last year who I said I'm willing to throw. They probably paid like a fourth or fifth round pick for him. So there are ways to make the rentals work. There are sometimes slam dunk rental pickups. It's when you make that stupid rental deal that's when you run into trouble.
And I also
Um,
think that
yeah.
like draft picks are more. I value draft picks really highly, considering like my interest in like the draft and finding the right prospects through the right systems. You know what I mean? Like if
Yes.
for example, like you can build a team completely from the draft, like having all your players from the system.
Mhm.
Um, and if you're gonna make like a trade or like a trade, like you gotta like, and specifically with the Rangers, make it worth your while. Get an undervalued asset for an overvalued asset. The one that I'm going to bring up is the Brassard Zibanejad trade. It was Brassard, Brassard and a fourth for Zibanejad and a second, right? Like, I don't get how people didn't have their eye on Zibanejad like from day one. And then when it was coming out, it was like, oh my goodness, the the Senators fleeced the Rangers. But like that's the way you make a trade. You look for undervalued assets, kind of like this is kind of bad
Colorado
example,
doesn't.
but like uh round. Pardon me.
No, I was going to say Colorado doesn't.
Oh
Like
yeah,
for me,
yeah.
the example is Devon Tays, where they paid 2 second round picks for Devon Tays, and he becomes one of the best defensemen in the NHL.
Or even going to us, for example, the Eller trade.
Mhm.
Everybody remembers the 2016 draft because this guy named Austin Matthews got drafted. I remember the 2016 draft because that's when we made the trade for Lars Eller. 2 second round picks became
And that was a footnote, man.
yeah.
Like that was like it wasn't a big deal that trade. But wait, did you say it was 2 second round picks though?
It was two
That's
second round
expensive, bro.
picks. It was 2 second round picks. Then Montreal flipped those 2 second round picks for Andrew Shaw.
Okay, well, you came up on top, out on top with that then.
Oh, 100%. And like it went us
Yeah,
the cup, like genuinely. Like that's how you make a trade, You bring a guy in and then like you vet him into the system and you're
yeah.
going to get a couple years out of it. Like you get value out of those picks. Like, I don't even know who those second round picks are now right now. Like I don't care because look at the way it turned out. But meanwhile, that I'm pretty sure that first round pick we sent to St. Louis ended up being Tage Thompson. Or like
Oh God,
something like that. Like we sent it, then we traded for it back, and the pick we sent
you better
back to
hope
them
not,
was,
man.
I'm pretty sure it was Tage Thompson. Like I know it was a U.S. product, 100% it is. But like if you think of it like that, it's like come on, like think of what it could
Yeah,
have been, and that's a I don't know, like that's just my spiel. But even going back to trading prospects out for rentals, I support a team that traded away Philip Forsberg for 6 months of Martin Erat.
yeah.
So
That's
you got to
legendary
understand,
trade right
like,
there.
you know,
Yes, but like there is two sides to every coin. I
yeah,
think of honestly, just going back to the last year, and this is still a story that isn't fully written, but the big prospect that the Florida Panthers had to give up for Claude Giroux, who was the big prospect, Brian, along with the first round pick. But who was it?
I
He's
actually don't
Owen
remember.
Tippett.
Oh, Owen
He's
Tippett.
Owen
Yeah,
Tippett. But what do we think about Owen Tippett? He's got a
he's
shot. Like
mediocre. He's a third,
exactly,
second liner at best. Yeah.
exactly. So like, if we might get to that point with Nick Robertson.
Also,
I like Nicky Robbie, but this is once again unwritten story. We'll revisit these trade ideas as the season progresses, but just bringing it up now, right?
but like going back to the Senators and the Florida trade,
Yeah,
they added Claude Giroux. You're talking about in your situation. You're talking about Gustav Nyquist. You know,
yeah. Okay, no, no. I'm talking more like let's go back to those huge examples like the
yes,
Patrick Kane or Bo Horvat.
that's true. That's
If the
true.
prospect they want is Nick Robertson, I think about it. I do think about it. If it's Matthew Nyes,
It's a no.
it's tough. It's really tough. Yeah, yeah.
I, anyway,
That's the line for me.
uh,
I do want to just give like props to opponents that the Leafs played. Did you have anything to add from the trade conversation or?
I wanted to talk about the doubles actually, because like you guys played them, and
Okay,
then yeah, I see
so
quite a
yeah,
bit of them.
we'll get to the Devils. Penguins. Yeah, actually, I don't have too much to say on the Penguins other than the other trade proposal I did come up with was really just a copycat of the Columbus one that I just gave you, which was just like, okay, insert Jason Zucker as Gustav Nyquist and insert Brian Dumoulin as Vladislav Gavrikov. Zucker's been really good this year. He was really bad last year. He's having a bit of a renaissance. Brian Dumoulin, once again, in that Muzzin mold, a little bit more injury prone. Minute eater guy, though. Just another idea there. So I can at least say I beat Sarah Valley on that one. Other than that, let's move to the Devils. What do you got to say about the Devils first?
I was gonna ask you, like, what do you think about like their
Yeah.
team, like given like like given Siegenthaler, Vanacek, like former Capitals are like kind of running the show over there now. Well, not running the show, but you know what I
Yeah.
mean. They're doing their thing.
Impressive team, man. Impressive team. And I say it from the standpoint of them being a team, not necessarily individuals standing out above everyone else, but that team plays a system to a T. And I was honestly like kind of not jealous, but I was like, that's what the Leafs should be. This is the system the Leafs should be playing. The Devils are relentless. They're fast. They're intense. They play a full 60 minutes. They do a lot of the things that the Leafs don't. Good habits they've got there. Leafs scored to take the lead early, and Devils came right back to score like 30 seconds after. Team does not give up. Very impressive, and the numbers will tell you that too. They're top 5 in a lot of metrics, and I don't think it's by mistake. And you look at this team, they don't do it with physicality. They don't have a Wayne Simmons or a Kyle Clifford. That team is purely built on speed and a relentless forecheck. They roll their lines. Guys like Jesper Bratt only play like 15 minutes sometimes, and it's because they can. And that defense, once again, it's an underrated defense with guys like Dougie Hamilton, Damon Severson, John Marino, Yoga Siegenthaler. Let's say Ryan Graves. I think like Brendan Smith. Like that's an unsung heroes group of defensemen there that get the job done. And Vanacek, I've been a fan of. I brought the idea to you that why don't the Leafs get him in when the expansion draft occurred for Seattle? I was like, why didn't the Leafs make that deal? Caps are giving up Vanacek and they send him to Seattle at first, only for them to get him back. It was so stupid.
I agree.
And then only for them to lose
Lose
him
him.
again. Like, what a weird scenario there.
Yeah.
So yeah, like Vanacek he was good. He was good. The Devils. You look at I think it's Money Puck that has the deserve to win meter. Are you familiar with that thing,
Yes. Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Yeah, Leafs were not looking good on the deserve to win meter. It was like 73% for the Devils by the end of the game. And it didn't feel like that from the eye test, but you just did. Oh, you would always give the slight edge to the Devils. Just from looking at the game, you're like, one team does look better than the other. We were able to get to overtime, and we did the Leaf thing where we lose draw and our heads fall off. I stick to my opinion from the first time this happened. I forget which team it was against where this occurred.
It's
The
the Jets.
overtime thing. It might have been Pitt. No, I think it was Pittsburgh. I think it was Pittsburgh. Where like we had this play drawn up at the overtime face-off, only for it to blow up in our faces, and you can just tell we're overthinking it. And the Devils were not. They made it simple. They said we're a fast team. We're gonna do the fast thing where we skate around you, And they scared our captain, John Tavares, into giving up the puck because the pressure was on Tavares. He was at our blue line and he was surrounded. He panicked. He made a panic pass and ended up on the stick of Jack Hughes, who sauced it over to Sharangovich, that guy. Yeah. Sharangovich over there, and he buried it. Another underrated guy. I don't think he's having as good of a year as he did last year, but they've got hidden gems on that Devils team. And what are we at now? 12-game winning streak. They're impressive. And the Leafs play them again on Wednesday. I want revenge, man. The Leafs need to prove to themselves that they're not getting surpassed by these young guns over here.
They are deadly. They are good, and I see way too much of them for me to, be comfortable with her spot. I mean, they're leading the division 100%. Yeah, they're like,
oh yeah, second in the NHL.
Second in the NHL. They're behind Vegas,
The
probably,
Bruins.
right? Bruins. Okay.
Bruins.
And if you think of it like that, it's like the East is so competitive. Our division's competitive. Oh my goodness, these guys came from not nowhere because everybody's been saying, "Oh, they're gonna break out. They're gonna break out," like year after year. But when they did, and it's scary because like, man, they built that team up, and they're
That's the
not
team
done
that's
yet.
built through the draft.
Yeah,
They're not. That's. I was just about to say. I'll give you two names that three names of prospects, like high end prospects who are not on this team. You want to take a stab at who the three I'm going to hit you with are?
I know Hughes is one of them.
Luke Hughes is number one, 100%, and he'll be up as soon as this spring.
Yep.
Right after his college season is over, there he'll be with the Devils. Mark that in stone. There's two other guys.
I have no idea off the top of my head.
Your other guy is the guy they drafted this year, Simon Nemec, right?
Oh,
the defenseman
yes.
they drafted, right-handed defenseman. So there's a pairing right there that you're going to add to this team in the next couple of years in Hughes and Nemec. And the other guy is a guy I love, and I really want him to succeed. I really like this guy. I love Alex Holtz. Alex Holtz got a bomb. That guy's got a shot and a half, and I really hope he succeeds. And the other reason I want him to succeed is so that we could have a line of Holtz, Escher, Hughes, and what do you call that line, Brian? The
Holtz.
Triple H line.
And,
yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure the Devils like last line. They're six, like the third pairing defenseman. The third pairing D are Smith,
Ryan
and Graves.
Ryan Graves.
Yeah, Smith and Graves. Those are your two worst defensemen, and you're upgrading them.
Graves is good.
Yeah, like those are your two worst defensemen, and you're upgrading them on top of that with those prospects coming up. Well, Luke,
this is why people say that Severson could be traded. Maybe not this year, because I don't know if we expect Nemec to step in this year. But I think Severson might be a free agent, so maybe they do the deal anyways at the deadline. I think he's the odd man out.
I'd say so too. Honestly, because Marino's untouchable, and Siegenthal's untouchable, and Dougie Hamilton, like you can't move that guy.
Yeah, you're not moving that contract, and I think ideally we haven't seen the best of Dougie Hamilton in New Jersey at least. So
but at the end of the day,
I would
Dougie
agree
Hamilton.
on that front there.
At the end of the day, it's Dougie Hamilton. I mean, he'll turn it up eventually. He'll figure his stride, especially on his team, and
he'll give you 45 points plus a year at least.
Yeah, and Jack Hughes, make you drop your jaw any at all or no?
Man, you know what? He had a couple shots where. So the comparison, like the mold of players, like we talked about earlier, like the Pavel Datsyuk mold of players. Well, the mold of Jack Hughes, he comes from the school of Patrick Kane, right? And there's a couple players who come from that school. Matt Barzal is another one. Mitch Marner is another one. And just comparing Marner to Hughes, there is a fluidity to Hughes' game that is not present in Marner's. Marner has a bit of a streak to him where he's not as upright, and he has to put a bit more effort in to make his moves. It doesn't look as majestic as Hughes. Hughes, when that guy loads up for a wrister, it looks more powerful than Marner's. Marner's just the visuals don't persuade me in thinking the shot will go in. I look at Hughes' shot and I'm thinking, oh, that's labeled for the top corner. Same idea as Patrick Kane. These are both guys whose hallmarks is their playmaking and dynamic skill, but you trust that guy to put the puck in the net too. So that's what impressed me most about Hughes. Not that he didn't score, but his shot looks lethal. So that's
so underrated.
That's what I thought.
Like I genuinely believe he's like generational talent in the sense of like right up there with like McDavid,
He's in the
Draisaitl.
tier right below the true generational talents. Like he will have a generational season is what with like that's at his peak. He'll have like that year where he explodes, similar to like let's say Johnny Gaudreau's year last year. Like Hughes is due for one of those years, I think, in his career,
The
right?
comparable for me, I think, is McKinnon. To be
In
honest,
terms of like, you think
like
he's just going to kind of explode at some point?
trajectory.
And
Like
okay,
everybody underlooked him for like because like there was a time where
yes,
everybody's like, oh McKinnon, like whatever, he's not that great, right? But like
yeah, I was looking at this today actually. Yeah,
but
like
Hughes,
he was
man,
not.
like give it like I don't know three more years. Oh my god, this guy is gonna make headlines, kind of like how McKinnon did, and his contract's like a bargain. Trust me,
Yeah,
like it's that's the guy. And speaking of that, I was speaking of Hughes. I was actually working on one of my articles. It was it's taking a lot of time because I've been working on a lot of World Cup stuff. But yeah, I was just gonna look at like the 2019 USNT DP program because that team like was known to be like the best US team, and kind of look it's kind of interesting to see how like everybody is doing now, right? Because we had 14 first round picks like from that team, so like almost half of the like the first round was from that team.
yeah.
So I
Was
don't know.
that also that was the Zegras year, right? So
Yeah,
Zegras is in that group. Turcotte is in that group, which is the
Caulfield, Cam
Caulfield,
York, yeah,
Matt Boldy.
Matt Boldy, yeah, that's another one, and Spencer Knight. That's the other one coming
That's
to my
in
head.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
but yeah, no, I was gonna work on that article. That's coming soon. I just gotta finish the World Cup stuff first because yeah, I thought looking too good. I'm making it, but
Well, World Cup is the World Cup. Yeah,
yes, yeah,
things can be moved over for the World Cup.
and
I'll touch briefly on the Sabres. Or you have anything to add on the Devils front?
uh, yeah, I'll say that. Hopefully, we can be the team that ends the streak.
Yeah. When do you guys play them?
We play them on Saturday next week, so 6 days from now, I
Okay.
think. Yeah.
So sorry, Brian. We're gonna beat you to it because we're gonna end the streak on Wednesday. Okay, buddy.
Uh,
So but like we can collaborate and start the Devils losing streak,
that's a good
right?
idea. 12
12-game
losses.
losing streak. Yeah, yeah. Last thing, do you know what their record is off the top of your head without looking at it? Because I looked at it and I just said, "Holy smokes!"
The Devils,
In 18 games, what is their record?
15-2-1.
15-3-0. Like
Oh my goodness.
just imagine. Here's the Devils logo. Here's their 15-3-0 record. Like the two do not compute to me, right?
Is
I haven't got used to that yet.
I wonder how Vanacek's doing in terms of like the analytics, save percentage, all that stuff because I haven't looked into
I
it.
think
But
well.
oh my
I
goodness,
think he's
man,
doing well. Like on the fancy charts, the J Fresh charts, and like the goals saved versus or like whatever GSVAA. Damn it, I don't even know what it stands for. I just know the term. That thing there, he looks pretty good on it.
man,
He's usually like in the top 10 metrics on that. Your bottom five is usually like Demko.
Kemper.
Um, actually no, I think Kepper's been pretty good too.
I
Um,
can't complain. But oh, that was the gem I didn't want to lose. Ugh, but it's okay.
Damn man.
Okay, you
Okay,
touch up on yeah on Buffalo.
yeah, the Sabres there, they're in a drought. They are on a 8-game losing streak, very quiet, not quietly. It is getting noticed now, but when they had lost like 5 or 6 in a row, that's when I first noticed. I was like, what happened to the Sabres? What happened to that great start there?
I thought they were doing good
And
going like
yeah,
into last episode, and then you told me I was like, what? Like
yeah.
interesting.
So the Sabres, Tage Thompson guy is really good. I know the Sabres didn't really have a good game, not at all. But Tage Thompson is quite something. That guy is a tall giant who can dangle. Not doesn't really remind me of Pavel Datsyuk. I can't put him into that category, but he's got some talent, man. I feel I shouldn't really be cheering for like the Buffalo Sabres best player, but I want to see that guy overcome the odds and be this guy for good. And totally not biased because it was my 10% prediction. Totally not. So, yeah. That's really all I have on the Sabres. Other thing I have on the Leafs from that game is the jerseys because we finally wore our reverse retros. Overall, pretty good. Pretty seamless. If you were watching with like a casual viewer, they might not have even noticed that we were wearing different jerseys until like they zoomed in on us. My one complaint, because I've always got some stupid nitpick with jerseys, is the shoulder yoke. The shoulder yoke on the Leafs jerseys is too narrow. it doesn't come down to here. It's like just here. It's really noticeable on goalies. When they would zoom in on Matt Murray, it was like the white shoulder yoke was just like a stripe because the goalie equipment is so bulky. And then you would have the Sabres who were wearing their nice away jerseys, which have the shoulder yoke that goes to about here. Like that's how it should have been. But still buying this jersey because I don't wear hockey equipment under my jerseys, at least unless I'm playing a hockey game, but I'm not going to wear that in an actual game. So it'll look good on a regular person who's not wearing hockey equipment, and that's why I'll still be buying it.
Did you?
That's all I got for the Leafs, Brian. Yeah, what's up?
Did you figure out who you're gonna get on the back of the reverse retro?
I haven't yet. I'm gonna probably get a blank, and then I'm gonna sit on it because that's what I did with the Beaver jersey, and it's still blank. So like that's the likelihood. Yeah, yeah. You bought your reverse retro, right?
I did, and
Yeah.
Ted, this is like I don't want to talk too much about this, but Ted, you gotta release it on NHLShop.ca. That's where I was planning on buying it, but if what he did was like we have a brand called like Monumental, right? It's like the Wizards, like it's like his brand, right? And he released it
Yeah.
only on there for the first batch instead of on NHLShop.ca first, right?
Yeah.
And then
Well,
obviously,
Leafs have that too. Like Leafs is real sports, right? So that's what
oh
happened
okay,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like yours was still on NHLShop.ca, like the actual NHL
Okay.
website.
Oh,
Like
I
like
didn't know.
like it was exclusive to in-person purchases at Kettler, like our practice arena, and the Monumental store, which is kind of I don't know. You want to keep it local for the first release, I understand, but come on, Ted, if you're gonna do that, you gotta send me something.
He must have ponied up for that one, eh? That
Yeah,
exclusive deal.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I ended up
I'm
getting
sure
it.
a lot of teams did that though.
Yeah, and I ended up getting it through like another website that I will not be mentioning because like you guys don't pay
Not
us,
for free, at least.
not for
Yeah.
free, no. But I'm excited for it, and guess what I got in the back?
You got Olaf Kolzig.
No, that's a
Obi, right?
jersey crime, man. You can't put a guy in the
How
back.
about Peter Bondra? No, I'm joking.
No,
I'm trying to pull caps, guys. Mike Gartner. Yeah.
no.
Did you get Obi? Please tell me you
Yeah,
got
I
Obi.
did. I did.
Okay, good.
I
Well done.
I thought
Well
about
done, Brian. You
Oshi.
made the right choice.
I thought about Oshi for a
Yeah.
bit because like I've always wanted an Oshi jersey, right? But you know what?
Okay,
That one has to be a Ovechkin. Yeah.
now that you mentioned Yoshi, I have to put this on record so that we have a copy of this. So here's your next year's Halloween costume. Okay, you ready?
Yoshi with a
It's
cap jersey.
it's you know you saw this damn what do
DJ
you call it?
Yoshi.
You have to say DJ Yoshi. Man, whoever did that, you're a legend, and I'm gonna make sure Brian fulfills his destiny as TJ Yoshi next Halloween.
That's a good guess.
Really good.
Before we move on, before we go on break, I just wanted to say yes, the pick that was for Shattenkirk went to St. Louis and was Tage Thompson, and Tage Thompson was flipped to Buffalo for your favorite player, Ryan O'Reilly. So
He's not my favorite player, man. What?
you were a
He's got
big
cool
fan,
stick.
man. You were a
He's
big
got
fan
a
of
cool stick.
yeah.
I know. I like Ryan O'Reilly. Obviously, the Blues Cup run. I'm obviously cheering for the Blues against the Bruins, man. Like holy crap! But I don't have anything against Ryan O'Reilly. I mean, I wouldn't advise driving drunkenly into Tim Hortons locations, but yeah, that's
but
it.
no, it's funny how that trade works out for everybody except for us. But it's funny like that's just how the world
You
works.
can find that for every team, though. Yeah, if you
That's
dig
true.
hard enough,
Yeah, that's
you'll
true.
find out that Crosby was supposed to be he was actually supposed to play for the Raptors. You just have to look really hard.
And we're just gonna go on a quick break. It's gonna be like 5 minutes. If you're watching this through a recording or
It'll be
Spotify,
no time at all.
yeah, there'll be no time at all. But yeah, I just gotta run to the washroom, and then we'll just talk about BD Sports World Cup stuff, and then we'll just call it a day from there. But we'll be right back. All right, we're back, and I feel like we talked a little bit about hockey way too much, especially without Dave. I feel like Dave feels a little left out with us this week.
It's not like this is a hockey podcast or anything.
In all seriousness, though, there is something that we do cover on BD Sports Soccer, having the biggest tournament every 4 years, the World Cup. You excited or no?
I thought you were gonna say the Grey Cup, man. That's what everyone wants to watch, right? The
Is
Grey
that actually
Cup.
on right now?
I think it's on right now, and I wouldn't be able to tell you what the score is or what time it started or anything. So
Oh, who cares?
yeah,
But
go Argos. Yeah.
yeah, who?
Yeah, I'm excited for the World Cup. We had a little bit of footy talk last time, and seeing like some of the images from the opening ceremony and having actual soccer beyond got me in the mood, man. And I heard some waving flag. That always gets me going, bro. That is iconic stuff.
Do you even know the song that's the main song like this time around? Because I don't.
I don't. I don't. That's a good point, and that's surprising because yeah, that usually sticks with me. Like I still remember the Euro
Zara Larson.
2021. Obviously,
Oh,
the no, yeah, no, that one was great. That was that 2018 World Cup.
that the Zara Larson and David Guetta was 2016 Euro.
2016 Euro. Okay. The Martin Garrix song for
Oh
2020 Euro.
yes, yes, yes. I don't know what it's called, but I know it.
We
Yeah,
are the people. We are the people.
that one's good.
That's a
That was
banger.
good. Yeah.
That's a banger. So I yeah, the World Cup songs are usually bangers. I mean, you go back to 2010, you got Shakira going real good with her song there. And someone was telling me that "Hips Don't Lie" was a World Cup song. Can you confirm or deny this for me, or like do I have to slap
Deny.
somebody
I
else?
heard deny. Like, there's
Right?
no way Hips Don't
Okay.
Lie is a World Cup song. Like, uh,
Right, like I'm gonna have to okay talk. I'm going to find this out now.
I I uh I don't even know what the Shakira World Cup song is called, but like I know it. You know what I mean? Like if you
Uh,
play, I can say it.
Africa. I think it's like Waka. No, Waka
Waka Waka
Waka, bro.
Africa. That's what it's called. Waka
Dude,
Waka. Is that what it's called?
Shakira live hips don't lie. World Cup 2006 closing ceremony.
Dude,
We've been bamboozled, Brian.
she she probably just
That's the
like played
Italy
it.
one,
She
man.
she probably just played it at the World
Okay.
Cup, right? But
Maybe,
like at the
maybe you're
ceremony
right.
or something like that. It's kind of like Dua Lipa One Kiss, right? Like she
Didn't
played at the Champions League, but
I swear like Will Smith did like a song at the 2018 World Cup. I'm pretty sure.
yeah, or
Yeah.
and then like
Yeah.
the digital one or something, not
He did
something like
no
that,
no
some
he did
performance.
something with like a like with Aladdin artist. I don't remember like which one, if it was like Daddy Yankee or Bad Bunny or like I'm
Someone,
sorry, I'm
yeah.
not well versed in that. One of those guys and Will Smith did a song at one of the international soccer tournaments, and I was very confused. That's the moral of the
It's
story
like a
there.
concert, like it's like a Super Bowl kind of a thing, you know. But I don't know,
Yes, yes.
like
Yeah, so basically what we're saying is we don't know what this year's is.
no clue. I don't even know who's
Yeah.
performing. Uh,
Do we know what the score was in today's game?
yeah, it's two or no,
Was
still
it
no
two?
Ecuador,
It was
but
two nil. Okay.
they called back a goal from Ecuador that was 100% like onside. Like they
I
called
heard
it
it
up for
was
offside,
controversial. Yeah,
dude.
you
Like
think it was the home field advantage there?
potentially, I this is a topic or like an article idea, but like the corruption like on the World Cup this time around, like
Oh,
yeah, there's always something to say about corruption with
it's
FIFA,
never
but
good when even the casuals know about it because I'm well versed in the corruption of FIFA. I mean, we touched on it last episode too with Sepp Blatter's comments. They've pretty much come out and said, "Ha, gotcha, fools. We were corrupt, but now you got to live with with our mistakes." That's basically what I heard.
I I don't know, man. I'm gonna try to like put the blinds, like cover up the blind
Me
spots,
too.
and just enjoy the tournament for what it is. Because I'm personally excited. Like genuinely, like Canada soccer. Like obviously, it's not like the best system. It's not the best in the world. We're not the best team, but I think that it's something to be proud about. You know, it's like this is the first time that like in
Yes,
our lifetime we get to see it.
and it's incredible. There is going to be pressure on Canada to do something because we do host or co-host the next World Cup,
Yep,
right? So presumably it will be in that no matter what. And I think is that also the first World Cup with 48 teams? Is that happening in 2026?
I believe so. Yeah, but
Okay. So like we can do something there, and when I mean do something, I mean win games, like be favorites going into games, right?
yeah, and I just want
Yeah.
to ask you, like 3 points for a win, 1 point for a tie, 0 points for a loss. We have Belgium, Croatia, Morocco. What would you be happy with?
I this is what I've said. I said I would be over the moon if somehow, some way we get a tie against Belgium, like a 0-0 tie. Team plays their hearts out. Someone even gets injured on our team, but it doesn't matter because we tied Belgium. That would like I'd be so freaking happy. Like I don't know. I don't I like I don't have a good baseline because I'm not Like I don't know how is Morocco's team. I'm not too sure. Like, are we favored against Morocco, or would you say
No,
like it's kind
we
of a
are a
toss up?
major
No,
underdog.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're a major underdog against everybody in that case.
Yes.
So I will say my expectations are if you get 1 point, I will be happy.
That's what I
Does
was
that
thinking
does
too. I
that
was
make
gonna say
sense?
1 or 2 points, I'll be happy. But what I will say is that regarding your little bit of a like statement about with Belgium, you'd be happy with a tie.
Yeah,
There's actually like their main player, Romelu Lukaku, has already announced that he will be missing the first game and the second game. He would
I didn't know that.
he's nope, he's not playing against Canada. So,
Wow.
uh
I would have wanted to see that at least. I wanted to see him body around some
I've
dudes.
seen too
Yeah.
much of Lukaku. I do not need any more goals from him in front of me, especially not in front of our defense. Um,
We still gotta worry about guys like Axel Witsel and Vertonghen and Carrasco
the
and Hazard. I can name the team,
the
man.
big one is this guy named Kevin
De
De
Bruyne,
Bruyne. Yeah,
KDB. Yeah,
yes.
he's pretty nasty, man.
I,
The odd time I do play FIFA, I love me some KDB.
and then
Yeah.
it's I'm just interested to see like Luka Modric's last like World Cup too. I mean, we get to see
Do you
him.
mean Croatian David Guetta?
Croatian David Guetta, Croatian ugly David Guetta. Yes.
Okay, I mean you didn't have to make it like mean, but okay.
It's true, man. If like
Your words,
like
not mine.
it's like it's that's true. Um, they look do look very very similar, like shockingly similar. But I guess like everybody has a twin. There's like
Yes.
what's there's like a fact that like every single person in this world has like has someone that
There's
looks
like
exactly like them.
yeah, like how we talked about the Pavlodatsu clones. Like there's archetypes of people. It's incredible how that happens. You know what? Maybe we do live in a simulation. That's a
Yeah,
different podcast. Though.
yeah.
We're
That's
not doing that here.
if
Yeah.
you guys want to hear about that, just leave in the comments. But I don't know. I'm excited for the World Cup. Obviously, it's gonna be a great tournament, regardless of the controversial stuff. At the end of the day, it's the World Cup. But will you be catching every single game you can, or no? As a casual hockey fan.
So, I do want to watch as much of the Canada games as I can, but like I think I'm pretty screwed. Like I'm pretty sure, is it 11 a.m. or is it 2 p.m. for Wednesday
I
Canada?
think
I
it's
think
2
either
p.m.
way, like
Yeah.
okay, I literally can't watch it because I'll be swimming in a pool for school purposes, which is stupid. But anyways, yeah, I'll be swimming. So I unless I convince my instructor to put the game on her phone on her iPad and I watch from the sidelines after doing laps, I'm gonna miss that one.
That's
So that sucks.
that's also another thing too. Um, if you're watching like a World Cup game in like just like in society, like I remember when you're in school, you're watching a World Cup game on the side. No one will say anything,
Bringing,
right?
you're right
It's
because
like a once in a life.
it's the World Cup.
Exactly. Meanwhile, if you're watching anything else, like you'll hear it, but I
It's
don't
like
know.
that with the Olympics too, right? Like with hockey, it
Yes.
was like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get excused from swim class to watch Canada, but I will definitely get the post game analysis of that to see how we did against Belgium. Yeah, and then from there, I think they play Sunday, Sunday and Tuesday or something.
It's
I don't remember their exact schedule, but
something like that. Yeah.
yeah.
Regardless,
So I think one of those games I'm also gonna be in class, but I'm gonna catch at least one. That's the goal.
that's the main
Watch
thing.
one in
Yeah.
full. Yeah.
And that's basically everything in regards to World Cup for now. I guess we're definitely gonna be making articles, covering a bit with Dave, I guess, and you know just keeping up with normal BD Sports stuff. Uh, anything else you want to close off with before we close out the pod?
I want to plug Dave's upcoming article where he says the Arizona Coyotes win the World Cup. That's all.
uh,
And I'm gonna have an article saying the Nashville Predators will lead the tournament in points. So that's all. That's all.
but in regards to everything else, check out our links down below. Shout out Razor, Fubo TV, and NHLShop.ca. I'm not forgetting about you. Sorry about that. I just went right over my head. Make sure to check out Dave's TikToks for V Sports and also get our phone app. And yeah, we'll just wrap it up there. That is everything. Take care.